Bitcoin making a big move up, breaking towards my target of that 48 to 50,000 range, possible ETF approval. We have the stock market beginning to crumble. So we didn't want to pay taxes in 2023. So now we look and say, oh, well, now we're in 2024. I could sell today and I don't have to pay those taxes for another year. Woohoo, that's great. And so they say, okay, now what's the reasoning behind this? Well, it looks like there's some, Iranian warboats coming into the Red Sea. Oh, okay, let's use that as a reason. And basically this is what it is, folks, is that you have this kind of mentality of people that they want to do actions, but then they have to justify it, or the media has to justify it. So now all of a sudden you have, the Iranian boats coming in. There's been more bombings back and forth between Ukraine and Russia. Maybe that's escalating. And people, this didn't matter. Like if all this news had happened last week, it wouldn't have caused any issues in the market. The markets would have stair-stepped slowly neutral to higher, right? But because it's a new year and people now want to sell and take some of those profits, it now becomes an issue. So now you have the US dollar popping to the upside.
Hey there, Crypto Street investors. Bitcoin's doing the cha-cha up, breaking through the 48 to 50,000 range like it's on a crypto dance floor. We've got possible ETF approval in the air, and the stock market. The US dollar is suddenly doing the moonwalk. Now, let's keep going as we dive into some enlightening discussions with our main man, Gareth Soloway.
Number one on the US dollar, I am watching this level. We confirm below, so I want to see if we confirm back above. If we confirm back above, that could be a failed breakdown. And one of the methodology points that I teach is that when you have a failed move, meaning that a breakdown or breakout fails and reverses, the opposing move can be pretty dramatic. So this is something we definitely want to watch on the US dollar. Now, going back to the 10-year yield, this never confirmed below, so it's not as big of a deal. I still think, though, we're headed back to kind of this 4.4, 4.5% level on the 10-year yield. Now, remember, why are people kind of eager to sell? Well, valuations got stretched. The Nasdaq, think about this, guys. The Nasdaq had its biggest up year in 2023 since 1999. I think, again, even if you were born or you were very, very young in 1999, you probably heard, and I was there, I remember the tech.com collapse that occurred afterwards. So there's a lot of kind of signals out there that something is lurking. Now, whether or not we see a collapse in 2024, we'll have to see. I still think 2024 will actually be an overall down year when all is said and done, and I do still believe that we are headed into recession. Everything but the jobs market is aligning for that. Now we just have to see at some point the jobs market crack, and I think that will happen probably within the first quarter of 2024.
We're still eyeing the US dollar, and it's like a suspense thriller. Will it confirm below or pull off a dramatic comeback? Gareth's playbook teaches us that failed moves can be showstoppers, and we're on the edge of our seats waiting for the dollar's next move. Now let's talk about the 10-year yield, a financial force to be reckoned with. Gareth's not sweating it, but he's predicting a return to the 4.4 to 4.5% range. It's like a sequel to a blockbuster movie, the market's grand return with a twist. And why the sudden rush to sell? Valuations went on a wild roller coaster. Nasdaq partied like it's 1999, and we all know what happened next. Gareth's crystal ball is hinting at a potential recession in 2024, and the jobs market might just be the first one to crack. Buckle up, crypto comrades. This financial journey is just getting started.
Let's go to the S&P 500. And if we look at the chart of the S&P 500 here, guys, I've talked about these trend lines quite a bit. We've talked about how you have pivot points all along here that were telling us that the S&P was into resistance, plus the double top right up there. So on a technical basis, putting aside the economic data, putting aside the overbought, putting aside all the things that really tell us that the market was due for a pullback, the charts, if you just look at these charts alone, you can see we were into technical resistance right up here. All right, so again, that looks like it's starting to play out just a little bit here. Now, I will say this, is that when you look at the Nasdaq, remember, already took out the all-time highs. That is the tech sector. That's the AI boom. That's all of those things. But the reason why I think it's worth keeping an eye on is this next chart. And this next chart, they look almost identical, right? So you have one chart over here and one chart over here. And what we can see on these charts is that you have the big move up, the big move down, and the big move up, making a higher high, right? Higher high, right there. Here you have the same thing. Big move up, big move down, big move up, higher high. Now, the difference maker is that this chart is Bitcoin in 2021, and this is the Nasdaq in 2023. Well, basically from 2021 to 2023. But my point is, again, is that these things tend to repeat, and look at the identical patterns. And so I would be very cautious here that it does tell me that there is a chance that the Nasdaq making new all-time highs, getting people even more bullish. And remember, that's part of the psychology of the market, is to push people to extremes, to make them think that nothing can take down the stock market, nothing can take down crypto. All of those emotions getting all long. Once everyone's long, who's left to buy, right? And you could say, oh, there's a few people, but it's really once a majority of the money's long, then that's where the move starts. So that's why we're stops, I should say. And that's why it's such a big momentum mover, where once you get too bullish, it tends to go the other way. And that's why I'm a contrarian trader once you get to these extremes. All right, so again, we have the Nasdaq up here making new highs. It is down today over 1%, so just keep that in mind. I don't know if this is the start of a bigger move or a little just of early year profit taking. I would tend to think early year profit taking. I'm not sure if we're ready to roll over significantly yet, but I do think we have to watch the charts to let us know. One of the things I'll be watching on the Nasdaq, guys, all right? We just talked about this. In fact, I'm going to go back to one big chart here and get rid of this here because I do want to show this. Okay, so here's going back to the Nasdaq on a bigger time frame. We are on the monthly chart. So what I'm going to be watching very carefully on this chart, guys, is do we get back below this previous high up here? So again, on a technical basis, this high here and this high, right? We are higher. So I want to see, do we have a daily failure of this breakout? Because technically you could say, okay, well, you have, and I'm not drawing this perfectly, but you have a breakout on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly chart. So what I'm watching for is this a breakout that fails? And by fails, do we come back and confirm back below this level on those time frames? If you do, remember what I said earlier on in the dollar chart, is that we had broken below, now we confirm below, now we're back above. The biggest moves come from failed moves. All right, so again, if this is a failed breakout here and we start going back down here, that would tell me that it's most likely the Bitcoin-ish chart, which, by the way, replicates on natural gas. I mean, you can go, literally, you could scan charts and you'll find these patterns over and over again. Because remember, it's human psychology. It has nothing to do with buyers and sellers and earnings and this and that. It's all about you and me and what's in here. What's in here are emotions that are driving us. And that tends to make things repeat over and over again. It's why technical analysis works.
Let's dive deeper into the financial realm with Gareth Soloway. We're zeroing in on the S&P 500, breaking it down like a detective solving a financial mystery. Technical resistance, economic data, and the market is a tad overbought. It's like unraveling a thrilling plot. The charts are like ancient scrolls, telling tales of resistance, with the Nasdaq experiencing déjà vu from the wild crypto ride of 2021. Gareth's connecting the dots between Bitcoin's 2021 chart and the Nasdaq's 2023 moves. It's a dance of patterns, a rhythm of market psychology. As the Nasdaq breaks all-time highs, Gareth's contrarian radar starts buzzing. Is this the market's way of playing a catchy tune before flipping the script? Early year profit-taking, or the opening act of a larger spectacle? Only the charts will reveal the market's next move. And speaking of charts, Gareth's taking us on a journey through the monthly Nasdaq dance. Will it be a triumphant breakout or a failed move with a plot twist? That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.